Welcome to day 15 of the Hero podcast. Here with me, Suppoman. The question I'm going to be asking in today's podcast is, where will I be in 10 years' time? And I want you to think of the same thing too. Because a lot of us, including myself, think, where will I be in a year's time? And then we make this goal for about a year and we hope to achieve everything we hoped we'd achieve in that year. Okay, so at the beginning of this year, I had 90,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I thought to myself, well, I got 100,000 subscribers in literally 2 months. Maybe by the end of 2017, I will have 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And that was a very ambitious plan. There are lots of people that have done it, and I myself thought I have the will to be able to do that. Okay? And then what happens is things start slowing down, I get impatient, and then I stop doing it. So I haven't filmed a YouTube video on my channel since February. And essentially, I was getting easy 6 figures every single video. Yet, I stopped doing it. And the reason why is partly because the goal I set was way too ambitious. And sometimes if you don't start realizing the kind of step-by-step goals you have to achieve to get there, so I'd have to get 200,000 by February, 300,000 by March, and etc. and etc. And if you don't achieve those, then you lose momentum. And you lose motivation, you lose inspiration, and then all of a sudden, everything kind of starts tumbling, and then you end up not going for a goal at all. Okay? And another thing is that at the moment, I'm doing really well on Udemy. So a year ago, I was absolutely nowhere to be seen. I'd made about $100 at this point, probably not even that, at this point last year. And now I'm standing at a much healthier revenue. I'm at nearly $25,000, where a year ago I was nowhere near. And I had this goal that I wanted to achieve 6 figures within a year and a half. Okay? Now, I'm a quarter of the way there, but I've only got half a year to be able to achieve that. And that's a year and a half from when I started on Udemy. So I always thought it was possible, and I love where I've got to so far. But I'm already off target to be able to achieve that revenue goal. I could probably achieve it, but I do love instant gratification. I do love achieving things yesterday. I do love going for it and putting as much hard work as I can into it to achieve the goal. And if I don't see it happening, I lose a bit of interest. Now, I'm not losing any interest in Udemy. I have lost a bit of interest in YouTube. But I want to slow myself down. And so I'm asking myself, where will I be in 10 years' time? So instead of asking myself, where will I be in a year? And a lot can happen in 1 year. You could get ill, you could have an accident, you could get another project coming in which takes your eyes completely off your primary goal, and all sorts of things can happen within a year that stop you achieving the goals that you set. And what happens as a result of that is that you may end up stopping something that could be successful in the future. Now, Udemy is something that I want to still be doing in 10 years' time. So what I don't want to be doing is I don't want to be doing any of the, I suppose, shortcut practices that I could do, I suppose, in order to do better. Okay, so shortcut practices are doing unethical things. And I don't want to do unethical things. I don't want to artificially create something that's not real. I want it to be real. I want to progress. So as a result, if I set myself a 10-year goal as to what I can achieve on Udemy, then it allows me to not hurry. It allows me to slow down. And that is what I want to do. I have heard from Gary Vaynerchuk, and Gary Vaynerchuk is a very well-known spokesperson in social media and positive thinking and motivational speaking. And he says, work your ass off for 2 years, and then you'll spend the rest of your life in retirement doing what you want to do. Now, in principle, that sounds great. If you work as hard as you can for 2 years, you could end up not having to work for the rest of your life. However, if I applied that same principle to Udemy, if I worked as hard as I could and really tried to force things to happen much quicker, then I could actually be probably removed from Udemy for doing unethical things. So I don't want to hurry up. I want to do things properly, sensibly, and at a moderate pace. Okay, and that's really what my plan is. So I want to look at where will I be in 10 years' time. So in 10 years' time, I would love to have over 1 million students on Udemy. My vision with Udemy is to help people and provide the best expertise I can on my expert areas, my chosen subjects like Facebook ads, Google AdWords, YouTube. These are my areas of expertise. And I want in 10 years' time, if some random person asked one of my students, how did you do that? How did you learn how to do that? How did you get so many subscribers? How did you sell so many products with your Facebook ads? I want them to say, Suppoman taught me. That is really what I want. I don't want to be the richest Udemy instructor. I want to serve the most Udemy students I possibly can. And the way to do that is essentially to make sure I do things gradually and grow moderately. Not just go woo like that and then I have to keep it going and then, all of a sudden I could end up having things just topple down on me. What I'd rather do is at a reasonable pace start teaching the world. Okay, so I'm at 110,000 students on Udemy, and I want that to be over 1 million. In an ideal world, I would be at about 10 million. But Udemy itself has about 15 to 20 million students on there. So to say I'll have 10 million students in 10 years' time is possibly a bit ambitious, because it's half or, 75% of the way to what Udemy has already. So, but what I do want is I want to grow on Udemy. I want to have a reputation for the courses I provide. Okay. Now, Udemy provides me a platform to do this. In an ideal world, I'll have my own school and people would come to that website and learn from me. But at the moment, what I love about Udemy is that I can just do the teaching. Okay. And then they worry about the speed of the website. They provide the infrastructure, the reviews, the pricing scheme. They provide everything to make it work. And they've already got a student base that enables me to get more students because they do their marketing, they promote courses, and they essentially are getting the students for me. If I want to get external students, then I do Facebook ads, Google AdWords, YouTube ads to get more people to Udemy. And I'm happy with that scenario. So I just want to make sure that in 10 years' time I achieve a lot. Okay. Now, I know of an author, I can't remember his name at the moment, and I promised to find his name out before I film this podcast, but there was an author who spent 10 years writing a book. Okay, he wrote the book and it did terribly. Okay, no publisher would take him on, and as a result, he just kind of carried on working on it, hoping that one day he would get a lucky break. It took 10 years for him to finally get a great deal. After reworking his book, he finally got a great deal. A publisher took him on, and that book turned into an overnight success. At least that's how the press said it turned out. For him, it was 10 years of hard work and graft on this book to make it perfect, to make it readable, to make it sellable. And he finally did it after 10 years. But if he asked himself, where will I be in 1 year from now? He may have abandoned the book and gone on to something else. He may have started another book. He may have got turned off writing altogether and done another vocation. But 10 years of hard work and he finally got where he wanted to. And that is a great lesson and story to learn from. Because that is exactly what I want to do. I want to work 10 years at a few things. Not at 10 million things like I tried to before. Just a few things. Udemy, YouTube. Those are the two things that I really love doing. And I suppose on the side Skillshare. But I really want to just do these two things. And I want to get my work out there. I want to be dominating the ether with my lessons. I want to help that many people. So in 10 years' time, what do I want to be doing? I want to be teaching. I want to be teaching via Udemy, via books on Amazon, via audiobooks on Audible, via podcasts on iTunes. Okay, and I've already started with that. This is my, I suppose, step 2 to world domination of my teachings. Is getting it on the podcast. The next thing is I want to have it on book and on audio. The reason why is because I just want to be available to as many people as possible through every possible medium I can teach them. And books, video, blogs, podcasts are the best way to do that. I want to be a teacher for the rest of my life. And I also want to be an entertainer, which is what I do on YouTube. And I do plan to resume my entertaining on YouTube at some point. But going to YouTube, I would like to be in a position where in 10 years' time, I have, 5 to 10 million subscribers. Okay? But, the thing is with YouTube is that it's very much a snowball. So in 10 years' time, that would mean essentially I would need to get 1 million or more subscribers a year from this point. And as I said, I don't want to hurry it. However, with YouTube, it's a snowball. What happens is the more subscribers that you accumulate, the more your videos get out there and the easier it is to get subscribers. So if you're starting from a position of having 0 subscribers and you make a video every day, the likelihood is that you're going to make very small progressive steps. You're going to have 10, then 50, then 100, then 200, then 300, then 500, then 800, then 1,000. That's how it works in the early days of YouTube. But when you get to the 10,000 mark, it's 10,000, 15, 20, 30, 40, 70, 100, 150. And it works like that. And the more subscribers you're accumulating, the faster your growth. So at 1 million subscribers, I would see myself growing at about 20,000 subscribers, potentially a week. Okay? And more as I get bigger. So, of course, over 10 years' time, 10 to 15 million subscribers is doable. 10 to 15 million subscribers is actually doable, probably in about 2 years. But I don't want to hurry it, like I said. Now again, this is putting a lot of faith in these platforms still being around. But what it's doing is it's slowing me down and making sure that I stay focused. A lot of people go to work day in, day out, doing a job they don't love. Okay? I managed to be able to go to work every day doing a job I do really love. Okay, I love Udemy. It's the best job I've ever had, teaching on Udemy. It's the best job I've ever had. And I want to make sure it carries on. I don't want to be demotivated by not hitting a goal. I don't want to kind of strap myself into a 1-year commitment of getting to a certain place within a year, and if I don't, I lose interest. I don't want to do that. I want to make this the job I have until retirement. I want to retire a teacher. Retire an online teacher. And that is something that looking forward to 10 years' time will allow me to do. I don't want to teach for 3 years on Udemy, make a load of money and then bugger off. I don't want to, be one of those instructors that does extremely well on Udemy in the early days, and then they pretty much hide behind a co-instructor, and that co-instructor does the work because they've got the name. They promote that course and just literally get it tons and tons of students, and they get tons and tons of revenue from somebody else's hard work. I don't want to be that person. The person I want to be is the person that is continually learning, continually sharing all the things that have been successful to me and have worked for me, and share that out with the world and have millions of people being enlightened to these different ways of making money, different ways of being successful, different ways of doing something they're passionate about. I ultimately want everybody to be in the position I'm in. I want people to be happy with what they're doing. Whether they're selling jewelry, t-shirts online, whether they're trading cryptocurrency, whether they are running surveys or trying to get people to, give their email so that they can do surveys or something. I don't care. If you're passionate about it, I want to help you do it. It may not necessarily be what I would do, but if it's your passion, I want to help you do it and give you the tools and the vehicle, I suppose, to get to your destination. And looking to 10 years' time will allow me to make sure I don't hurry it up, that I don't rush my work and end up having something really poor quality being sold under my name, and that I really just produce something I'm proud of and something that I want hundreds of thousands of people to benefit from. And that is ultimately what looking forward to 10 years' time will allow me to do. Because there's so much you can achieve, actually, if you think about it, in 10 years' time. If in 1 year I was able to go pretty much from 2,000 subscribers on YouTube to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, if I was able to do that in a year, imagine what I would be able to do over 10 years. In a year, you could get easily demotivated if you don't reach like 1 million subscribers or something. You could easily get demotivated. But if you think, I've got something here, I've got something I'm passionate about, makes me money, and I can do forever, then over 10 years' time, you can just not hurry, relax, just go for it. You could just do things at a steady pace to make sure that the fire is still burning inside to do it. And then you can continue to do it for years and years and years. Okay, so looking forward to 10 years' time will enable me to achieve greater goals than if I look forward to things in 1 year's time, because I could stop doing that altogether and be demotivated by not hitting the goal. So 10 years allows me to slow down, but it also allows me to create success over time. Where else do I want to be in 10 years' time? The other most primary place I want to be in 10 years' time is alive and healthy. Okay? I think that's something that we all take for granted, actually. I want to be alive and healthy. I want my family to still be here and be alive and healthy. Yesterday I had a hug with my son, and he didn't want to let me go. And I felt his, I suppose, need for me to be there. And I didn't want to let him go. And I kind of thought to myself, this is all I really want in life. As well as being a success professionally, holistically in life, all I want to be is happy, and I suppose with the number one love in my life, which is my son. If he wasn't here, or if I wasn't here, it would ruin, happiness, I suppose, both of us. So if we're alive and happy and have each other, then that's the important thing. And in 10 years' time, that's where I really hope to be. And by slowing down and not working myself to the bone and really ignoring the things that are important to me, then I will be able to just enjoy life more. Because if I was one of those people that worked solid for 2 years, I could probably do what Gary Vaynerchuk suggests. I could probably work solid for 2 years and be able to retire. But the objective isn't money. And if I was to do that, I would see my son a lot less. I would work myself to the bone, probably be stressed. I'd probably become unhealthy. So the health benefits to working over a 10-year view is much more desirable than over a 1 year view or 2 year view. Because you could probably work yourself to death. There's some people I know, workaholics, that are so stressed at what they do because they want to achieve the results. If they're not achieving it, they get upset, despondent, depressed, want to do something else. I said, forget this. I'm sick and tired of all the work I'm putting into this job, and I'm going to do something else. That's not what I want to be. I want to slow down and be happy. Even when I'm not doing so well, I want to be happy that I'm still doing it. And that I'm still there. Still alive and still healthy. That's how I look at things. So looking at the 10-year view, if I don't do something on a particular day, if I don't do any work over a day, over a week, over a month, that I can still keep on doing it. Okay, and I can just come back to it and make sure that I'm turning up and progressing it. So over 10 years, that is what you're able to do with something that you love. As long as it's making you some money, that's something that you'll be able to do. So today, my lesson is to think about the 10-year view. Not to be thinking, oh, in a year's time I could have 1 million, students. I could have made $1 million on Udemy. I could have 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I could have made millions of dollars on YouTube. I don't want to think of it that way, because the passion is still burning, and I think over a long period of time you can make that passion continue. I want YouTube and Udemy essentially to be like a wife to me, and not some mistress. Mistress, they're fun for, I don't know, however long you have them, a week, month, whatever. Mistress, they're sexy, you love them for a bit, you're passionate about them, and then it goes. And then you realise it's your wife you really love for the long term. And that is how I want to see YouTube and Udemy. I want to see them like a wife, that I treat them well, and I'm in it for the long haul, not like some mistress where I do all the hard work, it's all sexy, it's all exciting, and then bang, it's gone after a little bit. Now, I want them to be long term. And so the 10-year view allows me to do that, and the 1-year view doesn't. So I hope that this has inspired you. I hope that in some way it allows you to relook at your life and maybe stop hurrying. Another thing about the 10-year view is it stops you hurrying, generally. I'm one of those people that gets in his car, and when he's driving to a destination, tries to get there as quickly as possible. And then when some guy or girl is in front of me and slowing me right down, so I'm on a 40-mile-an-hour road, and some girl's in front of me doing 30, 20 miles an hour, and I'm honking the horn and weaving in and out behind them and really trying to get them to hurry the hell up, or then I overtake them. That's hurrying. And what does that end up? I could end up hurt. I could end up dying. I could end up upsetting the wrong person on the road. They could get out of their car, they could stab me, shoot me, whatever. I could overtake them, a car could come out of a junction as I'm overtaking them, bang, dead. Hurrying isn't a great thing. And I want to learn today to stop hurrying. Just chill out. Mellow down a bit. Just go a bit slower. Going slower isn't a bad thing. It's not a weakness. And I hope that this inspires you to just go a bit slower. I hope you've enjoyed day 15 of the Hero podcast, and I will see you in day 16.